Ryan, a family law associate here at NP Weiss Law, and I'm here to talk about custody modification. What is custody modification? So there's two factors that have to go into the custody modification. It's a significant change in circumstances and the best interest of the child. What will happen is you'll file the custody modification, and after have the filing, they'll have an initial hearing. Usually, that initial hearing is just to get a sense of the case, maybe set some dates up, and go from there. After that, we'll do some investigation or maybe a mediation hearing, depending on the circumstances of the case. Then there will be the final hearing. The final hearing, it can either be from just say we entered into this agreement, you guys all agreed on this, or it can be more contested and have more of a litigation format of asking questions and having more of like a trial with that. So the process can depend on the specific case. If it is something that you and the other parent agree to make that change, that's great. It should be a quick process, no problem. But if this is something that there has been a change of circumstances and the other party doesn't agree to the change to the custody, then that's gonna be a little bit longer and it's going to drag out a bit more. So, usually, it can be around 3 to 9 months, but again, that all depends on if there's an agreement of the parties, if there's an issue that is to be contested, if there's something that needs to be proven in the court, things like paternity that need to be established, if there's something new that came up, if you guys had another kid that's not covered in this previous arrangement or this previous order, but you still wanted to apply to the other kids and just add this other kid. There's a lot of things that go into the different specific cases that affect the different timelines. What slows down the cases the most is probably the non-agreement of the parties. Of course, if there's no agreement, you're going to have to litigate it and you're going to have to put together questions, you're going to have to put together evidence, you're going to have to put together a whole trial, essentially. Another thing that can prolong the process is if you're not being open with me. If I'm asking you to show that there's been a change in circumstances because dad no longer lives in South Euclid and the kid is supposed to be enrolled in South Euclid school and you're over in Columbus, then I need you to show me something like dad's no longer in South Euclid. There has been this change of circumstances that now dad's living on the street or something like that, that the kid should come live with you in Columbus. But if you're not sh- sharing that stuff with me, it makes it a lot harder for me to build your case and advocate for you. A lot of things are in our control, but a lot of things are out of our control. Once we file, it kind of gets into the hands of the court. We can still continue to build a case, build our evidence, and make our arguments, but it is on the court's timeline. So if the court can't have a hearing until September and we're in July because it's all booked up until then, the hearing's not going to happen until September. A lot of times there can be specific circumstances, like if it's an emergency custody modification, the courts update those timelines and they make them a lot shorter because they recognize that sense of urgency because it's an emergency. However, other times you are kind of at the mercy of when the court is available, when these hearings can happen. But it's important to remember that everything is also a process too. So it's not just like all fault on the court because they're booked up until September. There's a process to things, like there has to be a pretrial, and then there's discovery, and then there's steps along the way in litigation that take a longer time. I would probably tell the client on day one, entering into a custody modification, to give me everything. Everything that you think can be helpful to your case. If it's not helpful, I'll look at it, but I can't know what I don't know. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to us at MP Weiss Law.